is a day to honor 24-year-old Chelsea Poorman, 20-year-old Tatiana Harrison, and 13-year-old Noelle O'Soup at this vigil in Richmond, BC. All three young women lost their lives in what their families are saying are very suspicious circumstances. For Sheila Poorman, who's Chelsea's mother, she addressed the media.
I want to be calling out the Vancouver Police Department because this is three families here that have not gotten the proper support from the police, have not gotten their cases investigated properly.
In the case of Chelsea Poorman, she was last seen on Granville Street in early September of 2020. Her remains were found outside of this mansion in an elite neighborhood of Vancouver 2 years later. In the case of Tatiana Harrison, she was reported missing in early May of 2022. Her mother says police mishandled the file by transferring it to the police in Surrey because that was Tatiana's last known address, despite the fact that her mother said she was in Vancouver. It took 20 days before the jurisdictional issue was resolved and Vancouver police started investigating. In mid-July, Richmond police released this sketch of an unidentified woman whose remains were found on this dry-docked yacht at a marina near the Fraser River. They also stated the woman was in her 30s. On August the 6th, DNA results concluded that it was actually the body of Tatiana Harrison that was found on the boat. Her family says the sketch looks nothing like her, and Tatiana was 20, not in her 30s. Supporters and family members came to the yacht to honor Tatiana, Chelsea, and Noelle. For grief-stricken mother Natasha Harrison, she is still having a hard time with the news of her daughter's death.
It's painful knowing that, I don't get to keep her anymore and I'm not going to see her anymore. I'm heartbroken.
Natasha says there are still so many questions about how her daughter ended up here. For instance, Tatiana's last confirmed sighting was here at the Grand Union Pub on East Hastings, more than 23 kilometers away from the marina. Police have said she died of a fentanyl overdose, but little else about what happened to her.
For her to be found, with no clothes on, how did she get here? We had to get a shuttle bus from the SkyTrain. This isn't even accessible by transit. She had to have come with somebody. They didn't do anything. They didn't help look for her, nothing. I had to scream to even get awareness for my daughter.
And for 13-year-old Noelle O'Soup, whose remains were found in this SRO building near the downtown east side, there are many questions as well. She was missing for over a year when police were called and they discovered the body of a man that was a known predator of young women. Police cleared the scene, and it was a cleanup crew that discovered the bodies of 2 more people in the room, including that of Noelle O'Soup. There is currently an internal review in the police officer's conduct who attended the first call. Noelle's aunt, Josie August, says the entire system failed her.
We want people to know about Noelle that she was a 13-year-old girl that was failed by the system, that if it could happen to her, it could happen to anybody. It shows us how broken MCFD really is. It shows us how broken the VPD and the RCMP are with this jurisdiction. She's in this area, or the resources. Had Noelle had an Amber Alert, I think this could have been a total different outcome.
And through her grief and anger, Josie has a plea to the public.
Expose predators, whether it's in your community, whether it's on the streets. Expose them and quit protecting them because they're picking on our vulnerable. And as you see, Chelsea, Tatiana, and Noelle were vulnerable. And the way their cases were handled was not how any other race would have been treated.
Tina House, APTN National News, Richmond.